Robin Roberts was a stubborn young woman growing up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast before she rose to fame as a morning TV personality. She had a lot of discipline and determination from an early age because she was a terrific basketball player, worked hard in school, and was the daughter of a Tuskegee Airman. Growing up in a close-knit Southern household with religion, fire, and quiet grit, she was the youngest of 4 children. The transformation from a small-town athlete to one of America's most adored news reporters is just remarkable. Behind the camera lights and flawless delivery, however, was a lady who would have to deal with shocking betrayals in the sector she worked to develop, personal tragedies, and horrible medical diagnoses. The story's fundamental message is that you may remain cheerful despite its ups and downs, making a strong transition from courtside fantasies to the ESPN stage. In the early years of Robin Roberts' life, being tough was commonplace, and having close community ties was highly valued. Born on November 23, 1960, in Tuskegee, Alabama, she was the 4th child of a proud and purpose-driven military family. Colonel Lawrence E. is her father. During World War II, Roberts, an African-American pilot known as Tuskegee, pushed boundaries. Her mother, Lucy Marion Roberts, led a quiet life of strength and was the first member of her family to attend college. Because of these factors, Robin was able to cultivate a very pious, motivated, and disciplined lifestyle. In the small coastal town of Pass Christian, Mississippi, where Robin grew up, everyone knew your name and sports were significant. He had high standards and a lot of healthy competition. She excelled at basketball and tennis and never allowed her fear stop her. Her refusal to allow her athletic prowess interfere with her academic aspirations, however, was what truly set her apart. Many high school athletes relied on their physical prowess to get by, but Robin studied just as hard as she did while playing. She was the valedictorian when she graduated from Pass Christian High School in 1979. This was the first indication of the equilibrium that would later come to define her art. Her subsequent action, however, was unexpected. By any standard, Robin received a basketball scholarship to Louisiana State University, which is an excellent offer. However, she felt somewhat alienated when she arrived at the school. Something fell off. It was boring and far too large. As a result, she chose a different course that would alter her life. As she passed Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond, she made the spontaneous decision to pull over and have a look around. The atmosphere was comfortable and the energy was welcoming. One tennis scholarship remained after the basketball grants were claimed. She owned it. Robin's athleticism earned her a position on the Southeastern women's basketball team quite fast. She was unique in that regard. By the end of the game, she had accumulated 1,446 points and 1,034 rebounds. That places her among the top 3 all-time at the school in both categories. In honor of her background, Southeastern Louisiana retired her number 21 jersey in 2011. The honor is not something that many people receive. On the court, she picked up valuable skills including how to lead when things become tough, how to lose with grace, and how to never give up. In 1983, Robin earned a degree in communication with honors. Although she still has a strong interest in sports, she is also growing increasingly curious about the media. She began her career in television as a full-time news anchor at Hattiesburg, Mississippi's WDMTV. She still had a passion for sports, though. She advanced to the position of weekend sports reporter at the same station in a matter of months. Despite the lower pay and lack of prestige, she felt that the job gave her a sense of purpose and a boost of energy. Her ascent after then was gradual, but never simple. She worked in small markets at WSMV in Nashville, Tennessee, WAGA in Atlanta, Georgia, and WXVE in Greenville, Mississippi. She improved her skills in each newsroom by learning how to write better scripts, ask better questions, and speak more fluently. She was frequently the lone woman and occasionally the only black person in the room because she worked as a sports writer. However, she was difficult to ignore due to her genuineness, intelligence, and quiet confidence. Robin's efforts eventually paid off in 1990. As every sports reporter hopes, she was hired by ESPN. She started out on SportsCenter as a co-anchor and swiftly gained popularity among viewers. She brought a human element to a world too frequently dominated by statistics and arrogance by covering news in a clever, fresh, and honest manner. She then joined NFL Primetime, one of the most watched programs on the network. Not only was Robin Roberts writing about games by the mid-1990s, but she was actively transforming them, gaining national fame after appearing on Good Morning America. By the mid-1990s, Robin Roberts was already well known at ESPN as a fearless sports reporter. She did, however, have another opportunity in 1995 that would take her far beyond compiling game day reports and box scores. She was invited to appear on ABC's Good Morning America as a guest sports analyst. It seemed like a sensible way for her to use her expertise, but what followed was anything but typical. Roberts immediately shown that she was more than just a host of sports discussion shows. She was able to connect with individuals in ways that went beyond reporting because of her innate understanding, friendliness, and conversational skills. In the very competitive world of morning TV, she stood out for her honesty, whether she was discussing personal issues with a player or dissecting a major sporting event. Millions of individuals were moved by her articles as they began their days. They were more than just facts. She made more appearances on Good Morning America and had a greater impact in the late 1990s and early 2000s. In addition to covering sports, she was now doing special reports, human interest pieces, and, at last, serving as the news anchor. She joined the renowned Diane Sawyer and political reporter George Stephanopoulos as a co-anchor on GMA in 2005. For a long period, the show had lagged behind NBC's Today in the ratings. Her ascent coincided with a pivotal moment for it. But Roberts changed that narrative. Her appearance on Good Morning America restored its glory. People appreciated her poise and honesty, and they felt that she was one of them, someone who had earned her position through hard work as much as brilliance. In a few years, the show eventually surpassed Today to achieve a first. It became the most watched morning show in the nation. Roberts was the reason behind that achievement, not just one of its components. One of the most significant occasions of her early GMA career was Hurricane Katrina, which struck the Gulf Coast in 2005. To share what she had witnessed, Roberts returned to her hometown of Pass Christian, Mississippi. What began as a journalist's work soon became personal. Roberts stood in the debris and sobbed in front of the camera. Her family's home had suffered significant damage. Her childhood home was in appalling condition. At that vulnerable moment, Americans saw more than just a talented newscaster. They saw a human, a friend, and a daughter. Her reputation was strengthened rather than damaged by the incident. People noticed something about her that they didn't typically see in TV hosts. She lived the news with them rather than hiding behind it. Her ability to maintain professionalism while displaying genuine, sincere emotion ushered in a new era in American broadcast journalism. Sincerity was respected as well as accepted. That same year, Roberts founded Rockin' Robin Productions, a media firm dedicated to creating inspirational and motivating content. The business developed out of her mission to highlight significant tales that might not otherwise be heard. Her firm produced intriguing specials, such as Tuskegee Airman, Legacy of Courage, a documentary on her father's significant role as one of the first African-American combat pilots in World War II, and Robin Roberts' presence. Mahalia, a biopic on gospel icon Mahalia Jackson. Roberts was not limited to his work in television. She also authored numerous books, drawing on her personal experiences to produce works that were brimming with courage, inspiration, and practical guidance. Her desire to instill virtues like kindness, bravery, and hope in children was evident when she began penning children's novels, such as Bedtime Bear's Big Surprise. By the late 2000s, Robin Roberts was more than just a reporter. She served as a beacon of hope for people across the nation, a bridge connecting celebrity and everyday life, and an example of poise under duress. She earned a place on television and in the hearts of millions of people after every segment, every tear, every laugh, and every touching moment. Fighting On. How August 2007 changed everything for me after I was told I had cancer. At the height of her fame, Robin Roberts tragically revealed that she had breast cancer. She revealed the news and discussed how the passing of her colleague Joel Siegel had caused her to reflect on herself in a personal essay for ABC News. That decision might have saved her life. Her worst worries were verified when it turned out that there was a lump. Roberts underwent surgery, 8 rounds of intense chemotherapy, and nearly 2 months of radiation therapy. While she claimed that she felt isolated from both the outside world and herself while undergoing treatment. She said, as heard by Cancer Connect, "I wasn't there. When she lost her hair, it truly hurt her." However, Roberts boldly displayed her bald head on television in April 2008 after taking off her wig. This courageous action motivated a lot of spectators. She ultimately made the decision to shave it all off, which allowed her to regain control. "I chose that cancer didn't. Chemo wasn't used. I did that," she said. "I feel responsible because I lived through it." Roberts turned into a fervent advocate for early diagnosis and patient empowerment. Her battle was far from done, though. 5 years later, in 2012, she suffered yet another devastating blow. The unusual blood cancer this time was called myelodysplastic syndrome, or MDS, and it was most likely brought on by the cancer treatment she had previously received. They informed her that she would only have a year or 2 to live if she did not receive a bone marrow donor. Her sister Sally Ann appeared and proved to be the right match, despite the fact that it didn't seem like she would meet someone. Braving the storm, a strong will, transplant, and loss. Robin was preparing for a life-saving donation in August 2012 when her mother Lucimarian became seriously ill. In order to be at her mother's bedside following Tropical Storm Isaac, Robin left early for medical reasons and drove over flooded roads. The day Lucimarian committed suicide was August 30th. Before the bone marrow donation, Robin returned to New York for a 10-day course of severe chemotherapy because she was so distraught. During a subsequent interview, she claimed to have been emotionally detached from the occasion and in another place. However, she was given a second chance at life by her sister's kind gift. For much of her therapy, Roberts kept the cameras rolling, transforming her struggle into a mission to educate others. Many of the viewers responded. In a single day, the number of new donors to the Match Bone Marrow Registry increased by an incredible 1,800%. On February 20th, 2013, she made a triumph of will and love by returning to GMA. She continued, "I have been waiting 174 days to say this. Good morning, America." The broadcast attracted the largest audience since the 2012 election, with over 6.1 million viewers. Roberts' honesty and support earned her the Peabody Award and the Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the ESPYs later that year. However, the grief persisted despite the compliments. In a 2021 interview, Roberts discussed her. "I think she'd be cheering me on from her heavenly balcony," she stated, referring to the absence of her mother. It was a lovely thought for someone who had put in so much effort to recover from the brink for herself and her loved ones. Handling injustice, racism, lies, and conflicts at work behind the well-groomed grins and morning banter, Robin Roberts has silently battled with profound injustice in the field she helped create. Former ABC News executive Barbara Fedida was placed on leave in June 2020 after it was alleged that she had made racial remarks about Roberts during salary negotiations. Fedida was sacked after the network subsequently verified the allegations. Although Roberts didn't speak out at the time, she had previously discussed the overt and covert racism she had encountered in her early professional years. Despite having strong skills, she claimed in a 2007 NPR interview that it was difficult to acquire a job at all. She was motivated by her mother's wish to attend Howard University and her father's past as a Tuskegee Airman. She even caused tension among her co-workers. Roberts and co-anchor George Stephanopoulos reportedly got into a private disagreement in 2021 about ABC's handling of a sexual misconduct lawsuit involving former GMA producer Michael Korn. During a conference call, Roberts reportedly expressed his anger at the state of affairs by saying, "If this happened to someone on my team, I would have burned the place down." The incident demonstrated how she was feeling behind the scenes, even though both parties later denied that there was still animosity. The conflict just strengthened her resolve. Even when she was ill, depressed, or standing up for what she believed to be right, Robin Roberts never gave up. She did more than simply navigate the system. She challenged it, altered it, and advised others who followed her to do better. Robin Roberts has experienced more storms than a majority of us will in our lifetimes. Her narrative is not yet finished. It is one of perseverance, heartache, and showing kindness in the face of adversity. Which aspect of Robin's tale most affected you? I appreciate you reading. For more compelling stories about people you believe you know, please like, share, and follow if you like this in-depth study.